Hey guys, how's it going? So welcome back to the channel. I thought for this video I would do something a little bit different and kind of go back to what the channel began with, which was making terrain. And terrain for Lord of the Rings, funnily enough, so it's sort of a nice sort of full circle sort of thing going on. So what I've got here is 3 small pieces of terrain that I've been working on for about a day and a half. And that's really all they've needed because they're very simple, very basic, and they're just there really just as, well, most of the games I play for Lord of the Rings are probably 500 points maximum, really, because it's a skirmish battle game, so it's not going to be massive forces. So really, you're not going to need that much terrain. So I've got 3 pieces here, as you can see, rocky outcrops, sort of bits of old rubble. And I was sort of going to just talk through really what I did and then show off another 3 pieces I did, which were a little bit larger. So when it comes to making terrain, I'm always thinking about how much detail I want to put into them, how their durability, how long I plan to have them for, how long do I want them to last, and really what is the most convenient way I can make them, but still make them look pretty decent. And basically the way I've always found that works for me is a nice base, a nice cheap base to put something on, so they're easy to move around and you can create something a little bit scenic on there and keep it all nice and together in its own little sort of tiny diorama. So for, in this case, CDs, an old CD, or well, not an old CD, just blank CD, polystyrene, and then some cheap acrylic paint, and then some flock on top if I fancy that. It doesn't even have to have that really, and that's really it. Because I find polystyrene is it's one of those materials where you can really do anything with it, and it's something that you can experiment with a lot, and it's pretty forgiving, and the results are pretty much always consistent, and that is, it looks nice. It's not going to look amazing. There's certainly other materials out there you can use for much more effective results, but I find polystyrene is just cheap, it's light, and it's convenient. It's something you can get your hands on pretty easily, and you haven't got to worry about splashing out any cash for it. You can just literally get a block of it, pick away at it, and have something that looks fairly good. So as you can see here, like I said, 3 pieces of rocky, sort of rubbleish terrain or whatever you want, and these 3 here are ideally for, a chap, in this case Grimbold from Grimslade, a chap from Rohan, for them to be running around on top of and fighting on. This one perhaps specifically here for, say, if 2 heroes want to have a nice big epic duel. And of course this one here, that was always a good sign. This one here of course will be for, perhaps difficult terrain tests, and then this one over here, sort of a mix of the 2. And so that's really it, really, just something simple for my guys to run around on top of and, just muck about on. And then, of course, I did another 3, just going to move those out of the way. And these ones are slightly bigger. These ones are more scenic. The intent is for them just to sort of, be table dressing and give something interesting to look at, and, carry on with the idea that this is all sort of perhaps bits of an old city, perhaps like Osgiliath in winter or something like that. And as you can see here, again, the idea, nice big bits of polystyrene, ones with this time of sort of slight curves in them. As you can see here, sort of these. It's not just simple blocks. There's an element of construction to them. That's what I wanted. That's what I want. I want something that gives the aesthetic that perhaps at one point this was part of a larger structure. That this has been carved rather than just naturally occurred. So pieces that perhaps are at certain angles. Bits that have had, say, this was a piece of polystyrene that had some sort of indent with some, like with a barcode on it. I've clearly picked that out and then left it as if it was some sort of like alcove or something like that. That one's quite Moria-ish. It feels a bit like something from Moria. It's like very, the geometric angles, quite dwarvish. These ones on the other hand, very curved, maybe elvish, and then this one over here, much more sort of blocky column-like structure for, the realms of men, like Gondor, etc. And that's really it, guys. That's really sort of all I wanted to show off. With the snow, of course, the thing with that is not too much. It's a cliche, but less is more. And with snow, that really is the case. You don't want to put too much on it and make it, just sort of white it out. the key I find is to sort of think about where the snow's going to be laying. Where's it coming from? Is it coming from straight down, from the sides? Where's it coming from? And to sort of make it gather in places that it would organically, you'd expect to see it. So in this case, at the bottom of the column here, and sort of it's in thicker bits here, and it's slightly more scattered in the flatter areas, perhaps where people are walking around, stuff like that. And yeah, and that's it really, guys. That's all I wanted to show off. And seeing as how simple these were to make, I'm probably going to be making some more, though probably not going for any more snow, maybe going for something that's just a bit more plain, perhaps with not as much greenery on it, so I can sort of put those in as well and it doesn't look too out of place. Perhaps it's like there's been a bit of snow, on certain parts, and then other parts perhaps are less, have not seen as much of a dusting of snow. And then you've got this sort of, there's a nice dynamic there between, all this pure white sort of snowy terrain and then less snowy terrain. And there you go, guys. I hope the video was cool and you enjoyed watching it. I'm just going to stick him there just for a sense of scale. Yeah, guys, so there you go. That's what I've been up to, just some small bits of terrain. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, like I say, I'll be bringing you another video hopefully soonish. And until then, take it easy, guys, have a good one, and I will catch you later. Bye bye.